Hi, my name is Francisco Javier Diaz Islas, and this is my evidence number 2, art as a possibility for dialogue in conflict resolution. Well, the topic I chose was the repatriation of Greenland's cultural heritage. Well, we can first up start by defining what heritage is, and it is the cultural legacy which we receive from the past, live in the present, and will pass on to the future generations. It's a source of inspiration for creativity and innovation that generate contemporary and future cultural products. Also, cultural heritage has the potential to promote access to an enjoyment of cultural diversity, promotes dialogue, promotes communication between different societies. It can also enrich social capital and create a sense of individual and collective belonging, which helps to maintain social and territorial cohesion. So cultural heritage is a key component in every society. Cultural heritage gives us identity and also a sense of belonging, whether it be individual or collectively. It can help us also to get along with other communities. So this is the case with the repatriation of Greenland's cultural heritage. The situation started in Greenland's colonial period between 1721 and 1953. A great number of Danish and Norwegian citizens live in Greenland, and this all while scientists from abroad got their hands full with a significant amount of ethnographic material and other objects from Greenland and Inuit societies in the Arctic. These items were transferred to Royal Museum collections in Denmark across Europe. In the late 19th century, substantial systematic ethnographic collecting activity took place in East and Northwest England, with the objects thereafter being housed in the Danish National Museum. Artifacts gathered from the Inuit in the Northwest were taken to both the United States and Denmark. As a consequence, the 20th century Danish collective activity in Greenland, the National Museum in Denmark amassed six important material collections, which include geographical and topographic information of Greenland, Greenland's paleontology sites, also objects from the Vikings era from Greenland, uh, cultural objects from the Inuit societies that lived in the past, and information about Greenland's past societies. They were basically deprived of their cultural heritage. The objects were collected by other nations and exhibited in those countries' museums. When talking about the consequence on this matter, most of it has come from the looting and cultural heritage. There wasn't alienation or a sign of alienation or intervention for of for any of the cultural cultural heritage they appropriate. In fact, they were just exhibited in museums. And what amused me the most was what happened next when Greenland tried to talk out the situation with Denmark about these exhibitions. So, when Greenland tried to talk it with Denmark, Denmark easily agreed to return Greenland all their collections. They thought that this was something important and some in a cultural way, in a cultural and a social level, that this belonged to from where it originally came from. So Denmark exported most of Greenland's collections so they can keep them. I'm unaware if Greenland actually started exhibiting those collections, but they now have the possession of them. So why is this a big problem? Well, first off, the appropriation of cultural heritage is something like you can see as identity identity stealing. I might like to say. Not in a way that, for example, in this case, Denmark starts portraying their culture as Greenland's, but they start exhibiting that culture without maybe most of Green of Greenland citizens may not aware of what they were in the past, what happened with them, all the cultural information, all the rich cultural information they missed is not with them, and they might not have an easy access to that information. So this is really, how can I say this? This case is something that affects not only not only the country or the government where the objects were taken from, but also the citizens. Citizens most likely the common folk because they can act directly in order to, I don't know, get what they're lost, get back what they're lost. They cannot they cannot demand directly and mm, be given a response immediately. They have to wait. Meetings might have been need to be made or discussions in that matter, but an immediate response is not really likely to happen. So, what can people like us start doing to avoid this kind of cases, or actually start people to encouraging encouraging governments to stop doing this or doing it in the future? The one I came up with the most, and I investigated also, is about raising awareness. I know it might sound a little bit simple, but raising awareness is actually a really impactful and really easy way to help to avoid these problems. Raising awareness about the appropriation of cultural heritage from other countries is actually something that can impact in many ways. Not only because it changes people's perspective from other nations into thinking that what their country is doing is wrong, and they can actually oppose their actions, and start supporting the movement in order for the objects or collections be turned back to where they originally came from. We already know that social media is a really powerful weapon and maybe even a double-edged sword. So using this tool, we can actually we can actually make it really easy for people to actually for people to get informated. People right now nowadays, information is only one click away with our smartphones, our laptops, everything. Everything that has internet access has an easy access to a lot of information. So with this great tool, we can make people get to inform themselves pretty easy. Inform themselves about what? About the impact that heritage has in the culture. Maybe some people actually think that it's not that important, that it's just some objects that were from the past and it might have an historical value, but not a cultural value. But that's absolutely wrong. That's absolutely wrong. Heritage has a great weight when talking about cultural and social matters. As I said before, every nation, every country has its own identity. And what their identity is based off is in their culture, what they wear, what they did, what they celebrate, what they do, how they wear, what they speak, everything, every little small, every small detail counts as a part of the identity of people's, as part of people's identity. Sorry. So raising awareness might sound really simple. I say it again, but it's actually really important for people to know why those objects that are exhibited in museums are actually important and why we actually care for them to be here, why we want to own them, well, own, or why the country needs to have a rightful possession of this object and not other countries. It's not about the value, about the money value, about it's not about what the economical value or the historical value. It's about the value that that object, that collection, that painting, that sculpture, that tool, that photo gives to us as a country, as a community. The, the sculptures, the paintings, the very old tools that you see in museums actually gives us a value as a society. And it tells a lot about us. It tells a lot about what we were about and what we are now. It helps us to close the gap and actually tell how much it has changed and how much we might change in the future. Thank you for your attention.